Yesterday was very important for a variety of reasons. Mikhail Gorbachev, the last living leader of the Soviet Union, is no longer with us. He passed away yesterday. And Gorbachev's legacy was many different things, in particular, the INF Treaty. And the INF Treaty was easily, in my opinion anyways, the most important thing he ever did, because this was the first time in which nuclear weapons weren't just limited in their production, but eliminated entirely. We had an entire classification of weapon systems. Intermediate range and medium range ballistic missiles and cruise missiles were destroyed under this treaty, resulting in a reduction in hostility that had no comparison in the relationship between the Soviet Union and the United States up until that point. And from the INF Treaty came many things. The Berlin Wall fell. The Soviets began to realize that they had to learn how to exist in this international system. They couldn't just continue building missiles and do what they had been doing since Stalin was king, right? So they changed. Though not willfully, perhaps. The collapse of the Soviet Union wasn't really brought about by political enlightenment, but economic catastrophe. For the Soviets had utterly failed to adapt. They were dependent on the import of Western goods and thus dependent on the export of oil. And with the oil prices dropping following the 1980 oil glut, they found themselves in dire straits. And unlike the United States, who was able to take its incredible technological advancements that had been conducted under weapon system programs and evolve those into consumer goods and really more productive systems like computers stuff and would feed the digital revolution, the Soviets really failed to take military technological developments and civilianize them, and instead the nature of state secrecy above everything became, in fact, dangerous to the state. How about that? So, rest in peace to Mikhail Gorbachev and the thing that he represented, which was the reconciliation between the East and the West. Though not so much the East and the West, specifically the United States and Russia. And we find ourselves once again in a position where American weapons are being used to kill Russians. Javelins, HIMARS, GMLRS, and what a bizarre thing to live in, right? Vladimir Putin and his petro-monarchy, his oil cartel, are on their last legs. They are struggling. They are being run into the dirt by the Ukrainians without the direct involvement of the Polish military, which is about to become the most powerful in Europe with the introduction of vast amounts of American and Korean weapon systems, without the involvement of the French or the British, who are the most professional and utterly competent military forces in Western Europe, and most importantly of all, without the introduction of American forces, who the U.S. Air Force or the U.S. Navy alone, or the U.S. Army alone, quite possibly could run the army into the ground. But yet they are struggling to fight just the Ukrainians, and none of these previously mentioned forces. So if they're all combined, the Russians are fully aware that they have no chance, and they now stand with their back against the wall, clutching the hand grenade, the suicide bomb that is their nuclear arsenal, knowing that this will protect them, and it will. But will it protect him from his own people? Will it protect him from those who realize what he has done to their country, to their economic and technological future, to their political future, to the lives of their children? But we'll see what happens, I suppose. Until next time, it's been fun just trying to do a Jamie style thing and see how that works out. But I'll see you guys around.